Well, we're back, and welcome to Spiritual Unification. Yes, I know, I have to scream at you now because, we're blessed to be in the company of our middle school, or no, young, what do you call it, up-and-coming high schoolers from 3 different counties here in on Metro Atlanta. But I do have as the guest here today on Spiritual Unification, and we're missing Pastor Carol, but that's okay. You know how he is. He will be here, okay? This is Sharon J.Hilll, and I'm here with Mr. Galmon.
How you doing today?
Wonderful, and thank you so very much for joining us today. Well, Mr. Gailmon is going to lay it on us the way it's supposed to be. Okay. Work it.
One of the most important elections will be coming up this year. That's the presidential election, will be November the 4th. And it's very important that people who are not registered get out and register to vote. This is the most important election since the passage of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. If you go back and reflect on the history from 1865 up until 1965, you had more African Americans lost their lives over the right to vote than any struggle in America. So it's very important that we register and vote. Former Congressman Walter Fauntleroy came to our reenactment, the Selma to Montgomery reenactment, which we hold every year in Selma, Alabama. He also served as the chairman of the board of SCLC. He came with a proposal for us to accept. That proposal calling for us to do voter registration involving the church and community activists. When the church moved, the African American community moved. If you go back and reflect, Dr. King led the struggle in 1964, get the Civil Rights Bill passed. He was strongly supported by all many denominations. 1965, the Voting Rights Act, the March from Selma to Montgomery. 1968, the Fair Housing Bill. The church played a major role in the struggle for us to improve the quality of life for us. So this time we are calling on the church. Former Congressman Fauntleroy came with a plan. We have over 26,000 African Americans owned churches in America. If each church did a voter registration drive within a 2-block radius, we could register over 1 million blacks within a period of a month in the following states. Let me give you the following states. Texas, a lot of folks don't know. If you put the black population with the Hispanic population, they make up 52% of the population in Texas. Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. That's 9 southern states. Those 9 southern states constitute 53% of the African American population in America. If we're able to focus on the 9 southern states over the next month and a half, and each church did their job, it's time for the church to get involved. We have gone to sleep since the death of Dr. King. The struggle is not over. We could register 1 million blacks within a month if each church cared their way and conducted a voter registration within a 2-block radius. That's not a long distance. And register everybody within that 2-block radius. We could register 1 million new African American voters.
Ooh, okay, well, now that's a charge. Okay, and I don't know if we can get this, but Mr. Galmon's book is this thick. I mean, that is information, serious education.
On the front of this book, it's from 2000, it's pictured as 2006, but it's from 2005. That's the last major appearance of Coretta Scott King in Selma. She was ill, but she came to participate. This was the kickoff of the renewal of the 1965 Voting Rights Act that took place in 2005 in Selma, Alabama. And Coretta Scott King was the Grand Marshal at this event. So not only did Dr. King play a major role to get our right to vote, his wife as well played a major role.
Well, and tell us, please, now. Mr. Gailmon is on the board.
I'm on the board of the National Voting Rights Museum and Institute in Selma, Alabama. It's the history of our struggle to vote in America. I'm quite sure you know the 13th Amendment freed the slaves, the 14th Amendment gave them citizenship, and the 15th Amendment gave them the right to vote. But our rights was rescinded in 1883 by a decision by the U.S. Supreme Court. And for 80 years, we were disenfranchised until the Voting Rights Act passed in 1965. So we cannot forget our history. It's an old saying that one without knowledge of self is like a tree without roots. And I had a professor in college told me that if you don't know what happened yesterday, it's totally impossible for you to understand what's going on today, because today is built on yesterday. And young people need to know the history of the struggle that we went through to get the right to vote here in America.
And speaking of that, I was sharing with Mr. Gailmon my recent anniversary vacation in Virginia Beach, and he proceeded to tell me that he had been arrested
there in the 60s.
And what transpired? What actually
Well,
happened?
basically they let us go. They was in form of intimidation. What they would do, bring you down there and harass you and then let you go, because we were trying to integrate the beach there in Virginia Beach. Even there's big problems on the Gulf of Mississippi. Even though the Civil Rights Bill passed, they didn't want blacks on the beach in the Gulf of Mississippi, in Biloxi down there, and Ocean Spray. You know, racism was alive and well and kicking in the 60s. It took time to get, things straightened out a little bit.
Okay, and again, this is why we have spiritual unification, because we need to connect, not just, locally, but globally, and definitely with history, and connecting our young people to that history. So it is very important to have individuals like Mr. Gailmon. We have also had A. Reginald Eves. I have had him on to speak of, because he was a former elected official, as well as now assisting, his nephew in office. And, we have to go further than just getting out to vote, and understanding that you can play a bigger part as in voting and actually receiving the votes. So looking at running for office as well, but let's first step up to the plate.
Right.
And, exercise your ballot